Welcome to the weekend. Hey, everybody, it's the first weekend of spring. So what do we got going on here? Astrologically, because that's what we're here for, right? Absolutely. We have our Petal of Venus coming out of the gate on Saturday night, right? So that's going to dominate our weekend. Well, that doesn't dominate our weekend, but we'll see what the weekend holds for us. Make sure you stay tuned for the end, okay? We've got an interesting conversation about nutations. What's a nutation? Oh, my goodness. Well, welcome to daily-astrocat.com. It's your digest of all things astrological. I'm your host, Shane, and we're getting ready. We do this with style. We do it with a bell. We do it with chimes. We do it with a purr. And we also throw another bell in there just for good measure. Now, let's talk about this, because what we're doing is we're doing the astrology for 2 days, okay? We're doing it for Saturday and Sunday. And before I get started, I just want to tell you, the subtitle of this is called Petal to the Metal, as in petal, the petals of a flower, to the metal. Venus and our weekend plans. Now, it's easy to get all wrapped up in hype surrounding an event, right? Oh my goodness, the petals of Venus. Oh my goodness, Venus retrograde. Oh my goodness, Mercury retrograde. An eclipse. So many things you have to think about, right? However, let's talk about what it really is. The same can be said for this Petal of Venus, right? Just the hype and everything. I could hype this thing to death. Now, as a refresher, I'm going to throw in the blog that accompanies this, the article is going to be at the bottom. I'm going to throw the chart in there, the reminder chart of the Petal of Venus, the one that I did 2 shows on. If you need to, you can go back and watch them. I will put those in the comments as well. For personal reasons, this Petal of Venus is very near and dear to my heart. I explained that all in those other videos too. It's my hope that you may have had a similar experience, particularly with this timing in Aries. It's going to change next year. It's going to go to the next time it comes around, 8 years, right? It's going to be right on that cusp of Aries Pisces, depending on where you live in the world. And it's also quite possibly within 16 years, it's going to be in Pisces, not in Aries, because that's the way that the orbits work out. So now that I've got that said, 8 years ago, I conceived of a coding project, that resulted in the creation of daily-astrocat.com. Where will this iteration of this petal in Aries take us? So Saturday, the moon in Sagittarius is void of course at 2:53 in the morning and will enter Capricorn at 3:29 a.m. While the sun is inspiring action, the moon in Capricorn urging patience. There's a dissolution that isn't yet complete, but there's a new beginning that is yet to be defined. Oh, state of flux between the two, right? What does a beginning look like in Pisces? That's a good question. But the sun's in Aries. I know. Look, I'm considering the nodes. That's what I'm really considering. Advancing beyond where we're at and the dichotomy between the urge to plow ahead and waiting for the right time. Now, nature knows the answer to this. Do you? And today's keyword is rational. Let's go back to that beginning point, because Venus will be conjunct with the sun at 9:07 p.m. on Saturday, the 22nd, at 2 degrees Aries. Some consider Venus within 2 degrees to the sun to be combust. Boom. Catching on fire, right? And this weakens Venusian power, according to some, and causes problems in relationships. Others, going to take 2 sides here, feel that the Cazimi nature of this inferior conjunction purifies Venus as she's reborn into the morning star. I like that. The metaphor is apt. I think this meshes well with the mythology, yet it gives short shrift to the entire retrograde cycle in general. Just that moment in the sun, that's when the petal forms. That moment over time, right? Accrues over time. It's not something that just turn on a switch and it happens. There's no lines in the sky. It's not like you're going to get the exit ramp and go this way. No, you kind of drift one way, then you drift another, and it's a wave, right? It's cyclical waves. It's energy. It's not necessarily saying you will do this. No, it's not hard and fast laws. It's a flow and a feeling, and that's what we're trying to get into when we do astrology, particularly my way, the AstroCat way. Retrogrades, they're learning opportunities. So no matter what happens, if Venus gets purified or if Venus combusts, we get a chance to learn something. And with Venus, it's all about relationships, money, creativity, and the art appreciation, how we go about enjoying some finer things. These can all be affected by Venus retrogrades. There are lessons here to be learned. Okay. Now, our color is coffee crema. That foam that forms on the top, right? I got my coffee right here. The Sun in Aries is with Mercury and Venus. Normally, this would heighten expressions around feelings of affection. Today leaves us questioning them, because that Sun in Aries, that wants freedom. Not so much as the Sun in Aquarius. However, Aries, very closely linked. And we will see later on the Sun will be actually sextile Pluto. So we're working towards something here. We're working towards that freedom. What was real? What was in the water the last time the Sun and Venus were conjunct? Think about that. Think about that last petal. That last petal that formed. That's what you really want to be thinking about, because this cycle kind of follows, and you can look it up in the chart below. Hold on and don't be so hasty. The Sun in Aries wants a quick decision, and this is not advisable. The formation of the petal, that's what this is. We're forming that new petal. We'll need to hold on to the bigger picture and commit and begin to execute what our new vision is. Whatever it is we've decided to do, that's what we're doing. This takes time. Venus and Sun, they don't do the once, twice, thrice thing. Those petals are long. Those petals are 19 months, because the Earth and Venus are just about paced in that golden ratio relationship to each other, where Venus is just going around the Sun faster because it's closer, but Earth is keeping up, and we don't really have that lapping effect, like Mercury going around really fast and laps here 3 times during a year, sometimes 4. What we're really talking about, and then Mars has that 2-year cycle, so we're really talking about this personal, this one spot where we're at. And these are personal planets. They're not the way out there planets that are the impersonal planets or the bigger picture planets. These are personal planets. This is what we're experiencing. This is more about what we experience. Every occurrence of the Venus, the petal of Venus, it has a deep meaning. With the results are very important. So we just have to know that it's a unique formation, but it's repetitious. So it always brings back echoes, right? Echoes of the past. Astrologers love that stuff. What happened the last time Pluto was retrograde? The last time Pluto was in Aquarius. What happened the last time Neptune was in Pisces? We go back that number of years and we look at that. All right, so in 1960, we've got an invention for you, lasers. Ooh, they were really big back then, weren't they? Took a lot of energy to get that light to be so concentrated. And the first patent for it was granted to Arthur Schwallow and Charles Towns. And our birth is none other than William Shatner, 93 years old. Happy birthday, Bill. 1931. He's a Canadian actor, director, and author. He was in both Star Trek, if you don't know that, and T.J. Hooker. Bunch of movies and stuff like that. Born in Montreal, Quebec, in Canada. And that's all we have for you. Thank you so much. And we're going to move right along to our Sunday fun day. Sunday is the 22nd of March. Now, the moon is going to be in Capricorn all day long. Just brought that Shatner back, right? All day long. Yesterday, we discussed affairs of the heart. Today, we're feeling the first straining. Okay, mighty tugs on the moral arc of the universe that bends towards justice. I've always liked that saying, but that sounds good, right? Why are we feeling this? Sun, sextile, Pluto in Aquarius. The power resides with the people. Actions that are motivated by maintaining an imbalance of power will be swiftly shown the light. Ta-da! Speaking of which, have you seen it yet? Saturn in Pisces has a few ideas. Today's keyword is fulcrum. The color, stay with our coffee theme, right? Black coffee. We had crema on top. Now we just got the coffee in the bottom. Or at least that's how I drink it. The color, yep, got that. Now you'll feel a little bit of the Aries spirit creeping into your mindset. Anticipatory, very quick to react, and impatient. This is going to be a challenging week ahead, right? This can be done. Remember, you have a long-term plan. Be strategic, be persuasive, and stay unified around what it is that you are ready to accomplish this year. Which year am I talking about? Ooh, cycles within cycles, right? Love that. The moon in Capricorn can feel and hear the grumbles as the old is torn down and something new is here to replace it. The question is, for how long? Capricorn takes a very patient and a long view. Those who are considering the current changes, they might be missing the point. We always point out the cycles within the cycles, the Venus retrograde cycle, the year, the zodiacal year, the Chinese year, the Hebrew year, the Muslim year, all sorts of cycles, right? Mars retrograde cycles, synodic cycles between different bodies out there in the cosmos. Love that word. Those who are conducting these changes, that's right. Now, reconsider what it is that I'm saying. Go back and replay what I just talked about. How the old is torn down and something new is brought back, but for how long? And what is there, and who is conducting the current changes, and what is the staying power of those changes? Reconsider it. Okay, last week is when we promised romantic changes that the petal will begin to open. There's creative ramifications, however, and they're even stronger. Now, justice may very well end up finding a sympathetic ally. Okay, let's go, because I've got some interesting stuff here. And this is where we bring that word nutation into it. So in 1945, the Swallow Sidecar Company, headed by William Lyons, agrees to change its name to Jaguar. So Jaguar. Originally founded in Blackpool, it moved to Coventry in 1928. Jaguar's headquarters are still in Coventry. However, the brand Jaguar Land Rover is owned by India's Tata Motors, which happened in 2008. Ford had owned it previously. Got into a bit of trouble, sold it off for a couple $1 billion, and that's what we got, and it was mostly cash. Now, our birth is one James Bradley, and he was born in 1693. He's an English astronomer, and he's the third Astronomer Royal. He's the third one, number 3. Astronomer Royal the Third, I guess would be your title, right? Sir James Bradley, Astronomer Royal the Third. He discovered Earth's nutation motion, and he's born in Shelburne, England. Okay, Shane, you've been teasing this nutation all the time. You've been teasing it for a while now. What is it? It's a small periodic nodding or wobble of the Earth's axis of rotation, superimposed on the larger, slower precession. So you have to picture the Earth going around in a circle on the precession, because that's the way the axis, that's the way we're rotating with the axis. The nutation is a little circular motion. It's a wobble. Now, the nutation, it has a period of 18.6 years. Where did we hear that one before? That's what this is. This is what is behind the nodes of the Earth, that nutation, that little slight circular wobble. That's where we went from the moon being at its most northern point to the southern point. We just went past the northern point, which was in Aries, and now we're headed back 18.6 years. Okay, so what causes this? The gravitational forces of the moon going around the Earth causes that wobble. It just gets that little bit of a wobble because that moon has an effect on the Earth. There you go. Tides, and now a wobble, like a circular. Lee Marvin and Cat Ballou, right? Oh, God, showing my age. There we go. And here's a more detailed explanation, all right? Precession is that slow motion that goes around. and it has a period of about 26,000 years. Nutation is a faster oscillation, and the fancy word for it is it's superimposed upon the precession. And that causes the Earth's axis to wobble within the ring, right? So there's a wobble within a wobble. The main cause of nutation is the pull of the moon. That's what we already said. Especially the interaction with the Earth's equatorial bulge. So the Earth is not perfectly round. Earth has a little bit of bulge to it, and when the moon crosses that point, that's when it starts kicking, right? Because it gets a little bit stronger, and it's like, okay. Now, the moon's orbit is tilted relative to the Earth's orbit around the sun, and that's what happens. So this is where we get those nodes of the moon, because when the Earth is going back and forth in that supposed nutation, right? And it's kind of doing that wobble thing as it's going around. That's where we get those nodes shifting. And that's why the eclipses are in different signs every couple of years. Now that makes sense. It's all coming together now, right? Nutation, look, it can change where the stars are. It can change where they're located at. Precession does that too, but the nutation does it as well. Just very slight variations. It's very slight. And we're talking 18.6 years. And we're only talking like about 9 seconds of it. It's not a big one. You picture it being, big so you can explain it, but it's really not. It's only about 9 seconds of arc. And that's what I got for you. Today is a 4. Happy Sunday, happy weekend, and happy astrocatting. Thank you all for listening. I love each and every single one of you. Happy astrocatting.